Everyone wants love. In a world constantly shaped and molded by social media, it's easy to become engrossed in the idea of love as it's portrayed. If you frequent social media apps like TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter, it becomes easy to crave the kind of love that others have, or to fall into despair, thinking you'll never find that kind of love for yourself. I know so many of my friends who are only 25 or 30 years old, yet they're worried about finding a relationship or when they're going to have a child. The truth is, we don't have to rush to find love. In the past, I was in the same place that many others were in. Because I never had a relationship, I wanted one so badly. And as a result of that, I'd rushed into a relationship that wasn't healthy. And I stuck through that relationship for much longer than I should have, getting hurt pretty badly in the process. Since then, it's been hard for me to like anyone. But throughout the process, and taking a step away from love, I've started looking inwards. I think, as a society, we can become way too engrossed in seeking validation from external sources. Our entire life we seek validation from external sources, whether it be from our parents, our teachers, our peers, or even from things such as test results. And of course, finding a relationship be the pinnacle of receiving external validation. The one issue that comes with relationships, though, is that the relationship isn't centered around you. It becomes all too easy to think of what you want or what you deserve, yet when both parties are thinking the same thing, it doesn't work out nearly as well as you would want it to. Many people crave things they're missing in relationships, but looking for someone else to fulfill what you're missing is never the answer. In truth, however short we felt like our lives have been, it's all because our brain has compressed the past 20, 30, or 40 years into a short amount of time. Yet, we want love that will last for as long as we have lived so far, if not longer. I'm currently 22, and if I were to get married and have children, I'd have around 40 more years to do it. In all honesty, that does sound like a lot of time to me. After all, I'm going to graduate from medical school in an eighth of that time. As humans, it's in our nature to look for things that would help us in the short term. It's why addiction is so rampant among the current generation. Now, I'm not sure about anyone else, but I feel like even 30 years is a lot of time. After all, I went through a pretty crazy relationship that shook up my life in the short span of 1.5 years. So you would think with this much time on our hands, there wouldn't be as many people rushing to find love. But the short-term benefit of love is very great. That's why there's the honeymoon phase, where all the good parts of a relationship are, but after the honeymoon phase, when the issues start showing, there aren't as many relationships that survive. Recently, I've wanted to chase long-term improvement in my life, and I think a majority of people who are online or take part in social media do think about relationships when they come across them, as it was for me. That's when I started thinking, as a 22-year-old man, why there are so many people around me who are also around my age who do think about getting into a relationship and talk about it as often as they do. I think part of the answer really does come from how far science has come. Our life expectancy has grown by a lot more than it used to be 50 years ago. So relationships, getting an heir, those kind of things aren't things we really need to worry about as immediately anymore. Yet, my grandparents had an arranged marriage, so I feel like there still are many of us who are exposed to traditional thoughts and values such as those after having interacted with a generation who do have those issues. At the very core of it, I think it's very simple. The thought of having someone there by your side no matter what, someone who will consistently have your back, be there when you need it, be your comfort, that kind of thing sounds so pleasant that it's hard not to crave it. Being that support for another individual is something that many others adore as well. To feel that you're reliable, to understand the wants and needs of someone else, and be able to act on what you know of someone because they're the person you know the best in the world. Every thought in that regard is romantic. While I do find that romanticizing to be a very pleasant thing, I think we could all take a little bit of that romanticizing we put into wanting a relationship and into relationships in general, into our own lives. I know how lonely times can be, especially since we're very social creatures, but having that bit of love and care for our own lives can take us very far. So I implore you, while going out for that walk today, doing your workouts, sitting in a lecture for school, just try to enjoy the moment. You're living, you're breathing, and what you're experiencing is yours, and no one else is able to experience the same thing. So don't be afraid to love your own life and your own experiences, no matter how mundane. I'm sure in the future, all that love you have for your own life will give you all the more love and affection for your own future relationship. The hardest thing for many is they think they don't deserve love. This mindset isn't the easiest to get past, and I was stuck on it for a while too. But trust me, if you do start trying to love yourself, you'll find that love does show itself in many different places. At the end of the day, it's all about perspective. Once you find that perspective, love will find its way to you, as it will already be all around you. I think the most romantic part about love is not the existence of it. While for some, the meaning of love comes from the highest highs, even paired with the lowest lows. I find that the quiet and ever-persistent existence of love is truly where it's at its best. The same way it's hardwired into our brains to crave short-term rewards to benefit our survival, we're also habitual creatures that go about our daily lives in mostly the same way. That kind of quiet love that lasts throughout our everyday life is truly what makes love so romantic in my eyes. In that way, I think rushing love creates a lot of mistakes that might ruin some of the authenticity of love. No matter how much we chase it, no matter how much we crave it, love isn't really love if it's brief and momentary. Ironically, I think the kind of love that we do chase is something that we do have to wait for. But I don't think that means we should wait around and do nothing. That's why I think romanticizing our life is so important. In a way, I think that's a way of preparing for love to find its way into your own life. As I'm sure once you start loving the simplest of things, love will find its way to you.